Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is projection. And we're going to be talking about what is it that creates the universe? Is there a reality out there, or is it generated from the inside out? Should be a fun conversation. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together and vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. So good to have you here with us this morning. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. It's great to start the week together. And today's topic is projection. So I've been, over the weekend, I listened to a book on Audible called Observer, which is talking about how essentially we create the universe. It's a novel, but it's based in quantum physics. And I've also been listening to several different channelers, which is really interesting because their message is so closely aligned to the message that we put out here each morning about how important it is for us to maintain our frequency, to elevate our frequency, to curate our experience. And so if I can't say that I know with any certainty what the nature of reality with a capital R is, but I do know that we have the capability to radically shift our experience of our own reality in an instant. And our reality is so much a function of what we project out into the world. And then we find validation for those projections all the time. And so it's not that reality is reliant on our projections alone. We have a consensus reality that helps to solidify, so to speak, what is true or not true. And that's with big air quotes around that word, true. So it's not, this isn't a simple concept, and I wouldn't pretend to have my mind wrapped around it. But I think we've all experienced the power of finding agreement from others or finding validation from others. If we have a goal or an objective, vision, having other people be on board with that and be invested in that gives it a greater experience of reality, right? Of being more concrete, more substantial. And so when we collectively invest ourselves in horror, the horror of the world, of things happening in the world that are horrible, when we collectively invest ourselves in that, we are making that more and more solid, more and more concrete. When we invest ourselves in elevating the frequencies of our being, of our perception, of our experience, then we are contributing that energy to the field. We're expanding and supporting that energy or those energies. And so it becomes ever more important. And it's just so funny to me to see how there's a convergence of all these different inputs that I've been present to over the weekend. I guess I don't believe in coincidences, so perhaps it's that's the frequency I'm putting out, and all these things are showing up that are matching that energy. I think you've no doubt found that kind of phenomena in your own lives, where things happen that are very much aligned, where we might be inclined to say, what a coincidence. Of course, I don't know. I don't particularly believe in coincidence. So I guess the bottom line that we're looking at here is how important it is to curate your conversations about what's so, to curate your projections about what's going on in the world. And I know that it's very, very challenging to see the things that are happening in the world and to not get consumed by them, and to not feel the pain that other people are feeling. And it was interesting. There was one person I was listening to who just spoke the words more boldly than I've had the courage to speak them myself, I think. But it was through a channeled entity. So I guess it let them not have to be accountable particularly for those words. But the words were that all is well. That in any moment, regardless of circumstance, all is well. And it's through our identification with our human form, with the drama of our lives, that we are not present to the grander picture. Of the wheelworks of the universe, if you want to. I don't really love that representation, because it has connotations of a mechanical nature rather than a living system, a living dynamic system. But our energy is part of a bigger system, and the energy that we generate influences the entire field, just like any other energy that's being emanated into that field. And so we get to choose light. we get to choose light, we get to choose darkness. And I know that it's been a challenge for me at times to be looking at this notion of choosing light in the face of all kinds of devastating circumstances, external circumstances. That it's felt like perhaps denial or a lack of realism, or lack of compassion, even perhaps sometimes, to say, well, what's happening is happening. And it's all a matter of dimension. It's all a matter of the level from which we look at life and look at our experience. So if indeed we are part of a greater whole, if the whole is consciousness and we are part of life experiencing itself, and we are life itself also, or consciousness itself, then we're not bound by the limits of our physical experience, and we're not dictated by externalities. I think that given the range of circumstance and experience that's available on this planet in this form, to be able to bring forth light from darkness is perhaps is a rather miraculous capability. And I know that we have that capability. I know that we can generate light from darkness, that that's our essence, that we are in essence this energy of that can be light or is light. We eclipse it sometimes, and maybe in a deliberate way to provide ourselves with some kind of contrast, entertainment. If it were too easy, it might be boring. I don't know. These are very trite things to say in a certain context, and yet I believe that and this is just my belief, try it on. I think that there's truth to it, that if everything is perfect and everything is going beautifully, sometimes people get bored and look to create drama just to be able to have the contrast rather than vibrating at a level of contentment and joy. And it's a spectrum, right? We're here in human form perhaps to experience that vast spectrum, and it's not happening to us. At least this is the premise from which I operate, is that life is not happening to me, it's happening for me and through me. And from that place, we are challenged to affirm the beauty, the magnificence, the joy, the wonder, the light. We're challenged to be able to affirm it. And yes, and yet we can. And the thing is that when we do, we draw more of those experiences. When we do, we create and generate and project more of that light. And consensus reality, in so many ways, is filtered through a lens of fear and lack and shadow, that it takes a will, it takes a consciousness, it takes a deliberateness to curate our being, our presence. And in that presence, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the externalities, we can find a place of peace and balance. We can find a place of non-judgmental presence. And when we find that place of non-judgmental presence, we are in the flow of life. We are serving life. So when we say life is happening for us and through us, rather than to us, we are in service to life as it flows through us and to life's expression. And so it's very easy to be wrapped up in the drama. In any given moment, we can turn our heads from light to darkness or darkness to light. And it's not that it's easy, but it is possible. It takes will and intention and awareness. It is very easy to fall into patterns of pain because there is so much pain to be able to grab onto in the world. And culturally, we kind of manufacture that pain, we amplify that pain, and it's a control mechanism. It's a way that we allow ourselves to be disempowered, that we allow that light to be dimmed, and then that allows for greater shadow to emerge. It's not that the shadow emerges, it's that the light recedes. And so as we bring ourselves forth into greater light, into awe and wonder and gratitude and beauty, the power of that light is so much greater than the shadow. It doesn't take a lot of light to light up dark corners. And it's just become so much clearer and clearer and clearer how important it is for us to find that light in our own lives, to project that light, to carry that forward, to carry that into the world. Not in a way, not in a Pollyanna kind of way, not in a way of denial, not in a spiritual bypassing way, but in a way that is finding peace, like that connection to the timeless, spaceless, conditionless presence that is at the core of our being. The part of us that is not dependent upon circumstance for our sense of life and vitality. That even in the throes of dying, even in the space of debilitation, that we have the ability to, and it takes concentrated, concerted will to source that place of presence that is, it's beyond neutrality. It's not, I guess it's sort of a transcendent place of presence, to not believe the illusion of all the drama. So I had this wonderful conversation with a client who is I don't know if what the word is, a student of, or is a devotee of Christian Science. And they talk about how all there is goodness. And we had a conversation about how do you find the goodness in all the pain and suffering and horror that we can witness in the world. And the description that she gave, I thought this was so beautiful, was imagine that there's a hypnotist, and he has hypnotized, or they has hypnotized the entire audience to believe that they are ducks, and then to believe that they are ducks with broken wings. And the ducks are very busy trying to figure out how to navigate the world with broken wings, and how to heal their broken wings, and how to try to navigate, fly, whatever, without the use of that wing, and are involved in all kinds of explorations to figure out how to manage this broken wing situation. And somebody comes along and says, yeah, but you're not a duck. You're not a duck. And if you're not a duck, you can't have a broken wing. And so the premise by which we engage in the crazy in our world, and maybe even the beauty of our world, maybe we're hypnotized to the light and darkness. Even maybe it's just light, and the value of the darkness is perhaps that it allows us to see the light. So maybe that's why we create it, or maybe we create it for entertainment's sake, in the most loosely defined sense of the word. But to be able to experience a spectrum of emotion and circumstance. It's becoming more and more clear through science, even, that everything is connected, that we're all one, that essentially we are the ocean in a drop rather than a drop in an ocean, and that we have capabilities that are way beyond our general awareness and understanding. And more people are connecting to this greater awareness. And as we do that, we can create, through consensus reality, so to speak, we can create a new world, a better world, as we curate our vision more clearly, curate our attentions more clearly. We can be elevating that potential for the collective, for ourselves individually, and for the collective. And so the projections that we project we get to live within them. So if we're projecting doom and destruction and horror, that's what we see. I notice that when people are depressed in their own lives, they become very overwhelmed by the state of the world. So it's like projecting that energy outward, and then it is returned. When if someone's in love, the world is a beautiful, beautiful place. It's a very different place. The frequency is very different that we emanate, and then that we receive and that we experience. And so by a simple shift of mind, we can shift our being. We can shift the chemistry of our bodies. We can shift the energy that we experience. And all of that impacts the field, the greater field, because we're all connected. It's all energy. We're all energy. We may feel like we have these physical borders, but we emanate and we receive, and we're connected at the very least by that energy field that affects all of us. So as we emanate, elevate, that has an impact on those around us, and it impacts our foundational being. So the bottom line is, it's important that we curate our beingness. And with that, that's it for today. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened World Living. And as always, it is a profound pleasure and privilege to spend this time together and to have the opportunity to just talk through, think through, feel through all these different thoughts of thoughts, patterns, behaviors of being, and hopefully move us toward deeper discovery and deeper connection with our essential being. So until next time.